So I suffered from migraine headaches for my entire adult life. I started getting migraines when I was about 15 or 16 years old. I did find a doctor at some point that prescribed medication. I called it my miracle pill because it did work. When I got the migraine, it would make the migraine go away. But the point is that I was still getting the migraine in the first place. Over time, I came to realize what some of my triggers were. I knew that my monthly female cycle would sometimes trigger a migraine. I knew that exerting myself at elevation, living here in Colorado, would sometimes bring on a migraine. Number of things. If I would forget to eat or wait too long to have a meal, that could send me off the deep end into a 3-day migraine and really just take me out of life. But why was I getting the migraines in the first place? I had a lot of years to think through that, a lot of years to try and figure out, what was the underlying cause for these migraines. And I couldn't figure it out. I had a very normal, healthy childhood. There was nothing that I could pinpoint and say, oh, it was when this abuse happened or this traumatic thing happened in my life. I didn't really have any of that. I always considered myself open and willing to find a resolution for my migraines. And it wasn't until 2006 that I met a woman, a fellow journey practitioner named Lumi, who just through conversations, being in the same room with her, I would hear about this process called the journey. And my curiosity got the best of me. I one day just asked her, I said, I hear you talk about this journey stuff all the time. What is it? And can we do it? What do I possibly have to lose from trying one more thing? I've done the massage. I've, tried to change my diet. I've, been to the doctor and I have my little miracle pill, blah, blah, blah. I've tried all these things. What the heck? I'll try one thing more. I was lucky in that I had what I call the single miracle journey session. I spent about an hour and a half with my practitioner in process. And it was that single process that to this day has led me to a migraine-free life. What I can say about that process without getting into a ton of detail was, number one, the simplicity of it. Was blown away at how very simple it was. But also in the journey, there's an essence of being led to a memory, a crystallizing memory that somehow got locked into our body, into our cells, that put this pattern in place. And the memory that came up for me was not anything that I could have thought of in my wildest imagination. I don't even know the word. It was so unexpected, the memory that came up for me, but obviously incredibly, incredibly powerful. If you've ever suffered from migraines or known anyone who has, the pain, the desperation of a migraine. 3 days in, being out of life, spending 3 days in a dark, quiet bedroom with your head under the pillow, praying for anything, sometimes death. That's not a part of my life anymore. So you can imagine going from this extreme to now this extreme and what that is like for me. It's nothing short of a miracle, and truly, truly, truly grateful really on a daily basis. It's a tool that I have in my toolbox that I know I can, use at any point in time, whether it's for me personally with anything that I might be struggling with. Often I'll offer it up for friends and family who I see struggling, just as an offering. Like, look, this worked for me. I don't know what kind of results you may or may not have, but here's something that worked for me. And before I cut my body, before I start putting prescription medication in this body, why wouldn't I try something so simple? It took an hour and a half of just going inward and really clearing out once and for all at the deepest level that, by the way, no surgery and no drugs will ever clear out at the deepest level. Why wouldn't you try it?